is afternoon for me, so good afternoon. Matthew Franken, I'm going to be responding to your paper 2 about the death penalty. In the legal field, one of the most divisive controversies is capital punishment or the death penalty. On the side of the death penalty, I think you mean one, like people who are for the death penalty. It is believed the death penalty is inhumane and that there is no proof that it contributes to our society in a positive way. On the other side, however, it is believed the death penalty is just a way to punish those convicted of heinous crime. Well, you said crimes, but I'm pretty sure you meant crimes. There is no middle ground when it comes to the issue, which is what makes it controversial. Why is there no middle ground? On the one side, inhumane, doesn't contribute. On the other side, a just way to punish. Okay. Those that are proponents of capital punishment view it as a just and crucial punishment for the most horrendous crimes in capital punishment world. Blah, blah, blah. Imperative. I think you need to just check your imperative spelling there too. Lynch makes the argument. So the first time you mention a source, you're going to use first and last name. And after that, you'll just refer to the last name and just say Lynch said this, Lynch said that. She addressed the capital punishment has been abolished in many Western countries and is deemed inhumane for a large part of Western society. However, not most Americans. Oh no, you didn't capitalize Americans. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but some people would be upset. Lynch continued by stating that within the studies it found that most of those who support the death penalty did not support it because of fact-based evidence, but instead it was an emotional choice to support the death penalty. The death penalty is viewed as, according to, okay, you'll fix that. Death penalty is viewed between 2/3. Okay, that needs fixing. I'm not sure what you're saying there. Death penalty is viewed 2/3 and 4/5 support it as a okay. You'll make that clear. Lynch also continues her argument by stating that most Americans, you just aren't going to capitalize Americans, who are passionate proponents of the death penalty use the internet to express their views. There are hundreds of websites relating specifically to those who are pro death penalty. Lynch also discussed the pro death penalty viewpoints of many of these websites. Comes from. Okay, there's something wrong there. Lynch also discovered the death penalty viewpoints of many of these websites comes from those who identify as fundamentalist Christians. No period. These groups of fundamentalist, they're fundamentalist Christians, use their interpretation of different biblical, I'm going to make you capitalize biblical too. That's the kind of jerk I am. In their arguments toward their pro-capital punishment stance. I'm just trying to think about like if I feel like you're going in enough depth. I think so. Okay. Aside from the argument being made using the Bible, Lynch's argument comes down to good versus evil. Whoa. You really. The big stuff. When the two sides of the argument are an innocent victim versus a vicious killer, it is no longer easier to no longer view the killer with the same humanity we would normally view a human being. So this is another place you could definitely make your sentence clear. And I think part of what is happening is that you're writing a lot of sentences here. No, you're not writing a lot of sentences. But I think what would help this is your first sentence in this paragraph, aside from this, blah, blah, blah. And then you tried to start the other sentence also with like a little introductory piece, like you used aside from the arguments of the Bible. When the two sides, blah, blah, blah. So I think to express that thought more clearly, rather than starting with like an opening sentence part that and then waiting for the rest of the sentence, I think you just need a shorter sentence without like any fancy tricks or anything, which I guess would be something like, it's easy to not view killers with the same humanity or something like that. On the other side of the controversy with the death penalty, there is the idea that death penalty is inhumane. One of the strongest arguments is a deterrent to murders. What? You told me we were going to talk about it being inhumane, but now we're suddenly talking about deterrent? I'm lost. However, according to Goodorf and Christian Person, the death penalty states that still allow the death penalty have a much higher murder rate than states that no longer allow the death penalty, showing that there is no specific evidence. Tiny thing. So you said showing that there is no specific evidence. That there that you want is THERE. When you say there is no love for the Chicago Bulls at my house. Where do these examples come from? That's a THERE. Something spell check might not tell you. Systemic injustices in our legal system more likely to receive the death penalty due to the fact they're unable to hire a private attorney. Yes. It is also proven that Black Native Americans has a higher conviction rate. That is talked about a whole lot, and so I feel like it's kind of teetering on the edge of saying like it's common knowledge, but I think it'd be nice there. I think it'd be effective to have an actual link to an actual study for anybody who's like, no, that's just something they made up. Okay. These examples of institutionalized discrimination show that not always is it the people who commit the worst atrocities that are sentenced to death, but instead those who come most of their background. Yes, long there's many have been acquitted. So we move to talking about acquittals, totally different subject, right? Nothing to do with. You're now totally done talking about systemic injustices. So you actually have like 3 paragraphs here, I would say. There's a paragraph that's about is it a deterrent? There's a paragraph about systematic injustices and racism. And then there's a paragraph about acquittals. Adding to earlier arguments and DNA and re-examine cases of death row. This uncertainty is a major point of those advocates against death penalty show that there are so many falsely accused. So many, or I might just say that there are many. Maybe I'm really nitpicking. I don't know. Stated the average length of time spent at death row is 9.8 years. Duration of time is someone validates the argument that penalty saves. It definitely does. And if you don't have a source that supports this for your revision, you absolutely can find one talking about how the death penalty is actually more expensive for taxpayers. You just need one more source, maybe. It's outdated practice. It is not proven to be a deterrent. It's discriminatory. Oh, but you didn't finish. However, there's certain heinous crimes where the death... It's like, I've been watching a lot of Law and Order. Crimes that are especially heinous. Okay, so you're not quite done. But you're real close. And maybe when you look at a couple more sources, because it looks like you only have 2 at this point, you'll be able to fill in a few of those holes. So I think it's good. I know you're not completely done, but we'll just count the rest of the stuff as revisions.